because, you know, feel like Tyson Fury, you know, he's a very polarizing figure. A lot of people hate him. A lot of people were happy to see him lose, which is fine. You know, I think part of the fun of being a boxing fan is we all have our fighters that we like, and we all have our fighters that we dislike. You know, I like Tyson Fury, so I mean, but I like Usyk too. So, but there are people that hate him, you know, for a lot of reasons. But I think with him losing this fight against Usyk, you know, I think this is his chance to really and truthfully prove his greatness to the world. There's a quote that I like, and it says that adversity introduces a man to himself. So you don't really know who you are in life until you get put in some real tough situations, and you got to get through those situations, you know? And I feel like that's where he's at. You know, this is a guy that's a winner at the highest level. He's never tasted defeat till now. And even in his defeat, it was still a very, very close fight. So I'm really intrigued to see how Tyson Fury is going to mentally deal with all this. We know Tyson Fury's had mental health problems and problems with depression. We know he's like bipolar. So that being said, I've never in the history of this channel been more intrigued to see how a fighter is going to respond to a loss than this fight right here. Because if Tyson Fury is able to come back somehow in the rematch and beat Alexander Usyk, then now all of a sudden the narrative changes right away. The narrative changes where we have to talk about Tyson Fury being the best heavyweight of the era again, right? Because think about it. I want you guys to really sit back and think about it. Why is Muhammad Ali looked at to be so great as a fighter? Why is Evander Holyfield looked at to be so great as a fighter? It's because they were 4-time heavyweight champion, right? Well, you can't become a 4-time heavyweight champion if you don't lose the belt. So they lost it 4 times, regained it back 4 times. So Tyson Fury has a chance to now become what would be now 2-time lineal champion, something like that. Become undisputed, avenge the loss. You know, Lennox Lewis. Look how great Lennox Lewis is looked at to be. Lennox Lewis is looked at to be great because, arguably the greatest heavyweight ever, because he beat every man he stepped in the ring with, including the guys that he lost to. The guys like McCall, the guys like Rockman. He lost to those guys. He avenged those losses. That's why he's great. So it's not the end for Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury can still come through the back door when this is all said and done and cement his place as the best heavyweight in the era. But it's going to be a very, very tall task. I think he's got to get into a better condition. I mean, the back half of the fight was really just about how these guys have lived their life as fighters. Like, Usyk has been the consummate disciplined professional, and you don't see him ballooning up in between fights. And that's why I feel like, that's one of the reasons why I feel like he was able to own the back half of a fight. As to where Fury, we know Fury living a life and having a good time and, you know, likes to drink and, you know, just all that stuff. And, you know, the older you get, the more that stuff, it all catches up to you. And that's what happened here. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he adjusts. I think, really and truthfully, I think he needs to get a better grasp on his situation with his team, because I don't know what's happened to John Fury, man. I like John Fury. I've always been a big fan of John Fury and Peter Fury, and just the Furies in general. I like the Furies. But John Fury, these last 2-3 years, I think he's fallen in love with the limelight too much, and I think he's become a massive distraction for Tyson Fury. And so when you're watching the instructions in the corner between, you know, John Fury, Sugar Hill, you got Andy Lee in there, it's too many voices, and I really do think John Fury did more harm than good in this fight for his son. And so I think Tyson needs to have an honest conversation with his dad to maybe chill out a little bit, because it's not helping him. It's not doing him no good, you know. But listen, John Fury, he's going to have a hard time in his hands with Usyk. So look, man, it's not the end of Tyson Fury. I mean, we got to really have perspective on this, right? I think the world moves so fast now that people don't know how, people don't have long memories anymore. People don't understand, like, we live in a very much what have you done for me lately society, right? So when you come from the depths of hell, like Tyson Fury has, to even be in this position, people forget about it, right? So I'm gonna show you guys it on the screen, because this was Tyson Fury. This was Tyson Fury many moons ago when he was trying to get back into boxing. He used to actually look like this. Watch. That was Tyson Fury. He came from that all the way to becoming damn near the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. So any man that can come from that, I mean, I know people in regular life. I know people that are just average Joes. They can't even get their fat ass off the couch to lose 10 pounds. This dude came from this right here. He came from that to become damn near unified, not unified, but to become a champion again and be a big factor in the division and really and truthfully save the division. Because if you guys remember Anthony Joshua and Wilder, they could never come to an agreement. They were playing A side, B side. If it wasn't for Tyson Fury, this division would be boring. It would have been boring as hell, honestly. Because Wilder and Joshua could not handle the responsibility properly of getting the damn fight done. So if he goes ahead and he winds up somehow beating Usyk in a rematch, then there's going to be some serious retractions from people in boxing. So don't write him off just yet. But shout out to my boy John with the super chat. He says, how good is Agit Kabayel? He looked fantastic, and he did. He looked amazing. Agit Kabayel is, I think, now becoming one of the top contenders in the division. I mean, once you beat guys like Frank Sanchez and Makhmudov back to back, you're gonna go ahead and start getting consideration for big fights. Now, I think he's good enough to give. I think he could beat Anthony Joshua. Honestly, I think I would give him a chance to beat Anthony Joshua. I'd favor AJ obviously, but I think he could beat him. I think he didn't give Hrgovic some problems. I think he's good. I think he's good. I think Kabayel is a very good contender. I actually think it's not far-fetched that he gets an Anthony Joshua fight, because anybody who's paid attention for all these years knows, like, Kabayel was always linked to fights with Fury. He was linked to fights with Joshua. He just could never get those fights, and he had some promotional issues as well. So now with all the Saudi money coming in, he's been able to, like, Saudi Arabia has helped guys like him the most. Those guys who can fight, who are high level, but maybe they just don't have the name or they don't have the promotional situation that favors them. So the money is just cut through all that, and now he's able to stay active and showcase his skills more against top competition. So good for him. I think he's definitely someone that's going to be one of the most important heavyweights in the division. He is now, at this moment in time, one of the most important heavyweights in the world, because I'm telling you, I really do think, like, I know they're saying Joshua fights the Hrgovic Dubois winner, but I don't think that's gonna. I think if Dubois beats Hrgovic, Joshua will fight Dubois. If Hrgovic beats Dubois, Joshua is not fighting Hrgovic, because Joshua's ultimate end game is to get the damn Tyson Fury fight. I feel, because that's one of the guys from his era he wants to fight. It's a big fight. It's big in the UK. Fighting a guy like Hrgovic, if Hrgovic goes and cracks Anthony Joshua the way I know he'll crack him, then Anthony Joshua won't get the Tyson Fury fight. So, not saying that Kabayel is safe, because he's not safe, but I do think he's a little safer than Filip Hrgovic. So for that reason, I think, depending on how that fight plays out, Kabayel could get a Joshua fight. So just watch out for that. But let me see. We got my man Next Gen Combat in the building. Shout out to him. Good to see you, champ. Shinobi has super chat. Thank you, Shinobi. Shinobi says, hold on, where is it? Shinobi says, I've been busy at work, but I still gotta support, and I appreciate all your contributions, man. He says, my boy Giovanni Santillan got slept. Any word on Raymond Muratalla? No word yet. No word. Funny enough, actually, no, I don't want to speak on it right now, but I haven't dropped it yet. I interviewed somebody last night that knows Raymond Muratalla really well. You guys will find out later who that is, but nothing on him. But I do think that with Baranchyk beating Navarrete to become champion, I think Top Rank will try to push Muratalla to get the Baranchyk fight, because Muratalla, he's a guy, man, that I think that I know they want the Shakur Stevenson fight. I know that that's a fight they're interested in. And when I say they, I mean Robert Garcia and that whole camp, because I talked to Robert about it my damn self. And I think Top Rank will want that fight too. So I think Muratalla will get the Baranchyk fight. If Muratalla gets the fight, beats Baranchyk, then you got a Corey Stevenson fight. So that's all I can tell you. But shout out to everybody here. It's your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. Man. All right, so I kind of get my thoughts on Fury. Yeah, don't write him off. He's not done yet. The reason why these guys like Holyfield and Ali are so great is because they lost and they found a way to still overcome, right? So there's that. Now, last thing, one of my last speaking points, and it's all about this whole IBF belt situation, because I see people complaining and bitching and moaning, and I don't understand how it was always going to be this way. So people need to stop being so surprised, or they need to pay a little more attention. So Usyk is not going to be undisputed for very long. The IBF belt is going vacant for Hrgovic versus Dubois. As you can see right here, as reported by Michael Benson, Usyk will be stripped of the vacant. Usyk will be stripped of the IBF belt at some point in the next 2 weeks, and it is expected to be on the line for the Hrgovic versus Daniel Dubois fight on June 1st, with Anthony Joshua likely to challenge the winner. Hrgovic is the overdue IBF mandatory, and yes, 1,000% he's overdue. Filip Hrgovic has been the damn mandatory since he beat Zhang in August of 2022. Now, I was just talking about this last night with a great friend of mine about how boxing people are so quick to complain when these big name fighters get stripped, right? But they don't complain when mandatories get, for lack of a better term, when they get fucked, when they don't get the fights when they're supposed to get the fights. So then what winds up happening is people get a big fight that they want to see, and it winds up getting interrupted because the sanctioning bodies didn't honor their mandatories in a timely manner. So I'm happy. I'm happy that Fury and Usyk happened. We crowned the undisputed champion. I'm happy that Hrgovic gets his shot, because really and truthfully, Filip Hrgovic is one of the best heavyweights in the world. He's one of the top. In my opinion, I think Filip Hrgovic on his best night, which we haven't seen yet, but I know it's coming really, really soon. But Filip Hrgovic on his best night, I think could be any heavyweight in the world. There's not really a ton that he's lacking. He's got the chin. He boxes at a pretty high level. He's a very respectable power puncher. He's got the size. He's deceptively athletic. He could be anybody, and I mean anybody. So he's fighting Dubois. He can't overlook Dubois. But if he wins the belt, I'll be very interested to see like what the landscape's gonna look like. Who's gonna be the champion? I got the damn lighter in my hand. Who's gonna be the champion if he beats Dubois and becomes the IBF champion? Will Usyk still be there? Will Fury be there? Will the belts be vacant? Will the division sort of? That's really what I want to see. So it's gonna be a very intriguing couple months for the heavyweight division, seeing what happens between Hrgovic and Dubois. Then, like, if Hrgovic beats Dubois, they're saying he's gonna fight AJ, but I don't believe he's gonna fight AJ. I don't really think they want that. I don't think AJ really wants a Hrgovic fight. I don't, because I've been very clear about how that fight's gonna go for a long, long time, and I'm sticking to it. If and when Anthony Joshua Hrgovic fight, that is going to be Anthony Joshua's last fight in boxing. You don't got to worry about him fighting Tyson Fury or anybody else. That'll be it for him. You can congratulate him on a nice career the day the contract gets signed. But AJ's fought a lot of people, so maybe I'm being too harsh. But I mean, these guys, a lot of guys who fight people, like Joseph Parker fights people. He doesn't really duck anybody. Even he's avoided Hrgovic multiple times. Once in 2022 when he was offered the fight for the IBF Eliminator, turned it down there. Then before he signed for the Zhang fight, he was talking about fighting Hrgovic, and then he lied. Like, he basically lied about it. So even the guys that are real warriors don't fight him. So until I see that JJ signed to fight Hrgovic and I see the poster, I won't believe it. But it's a chance for Dubois to become champion as well, which Dubois, you could argue, Dubois should have already been champion because he stopped Usyk and they robbed him of that. So a lot of moving pieces in the heavyweight division. There's a lot of them. And then my last point before I get back to the comments and we just chill and just let it run for a little bit in freestyle. My last thing is this, and this is a hard pill to swallow for the Anthony Joshua fans. But when I was watching Fury Usyk, and I saw AJ ringside, the thing that dawned on me the most was that Anthony Joshua will never truly be the man of his era. And it's tough because when you look at Wilder, when you look at Fury, when you look at Usyk, the guy that was groomed to be the man of his era was AJ. So the fact that he's not going to become that, tough pill to swallow, right? Now, he could fight for the number 2 spot. He could maybe, you know, with Fury. Fury still has a chance to become number 1, but Anthony Joshua can't be number 1. He can't be the man of his era. Why? Because the guy that became the man, Usyk, who became undisputed, he lost to him twice already. And so even if he were to somehow beat him in a 3rd fight, which nobody wants to see, he still would be down 2-1 to Usyk. So that's where we're at. So Anthony Joshua will never be the man of his era. The only way I think he can truly cement himself as number 2 is he has to fight Tyson Fury and or Deontay Wilder and or give Joseph Parker a rematch. Fight any one of those, get any 2 of those 3 wins. You know, beat a Wilder or a Fury, right? Because he's got unfinished business with Wilder and Fury. And then that Joseph Parker fight, even though he won the fight all those years ago, it was one of the worst title fights ever. Like, it was bad. Parker had a game plan to crowd Joshua and work on the inside. He couldn't do that because the referee would not allow him to work on the inside, right? Joseph Parker has now been on a great run of form now. He's beaten Zhang, he's beaten Wilder. You know, he damn near could have won Fighter of the Year last year. I think Joshua needs to fight him. I think if Joshua don't fight Joseph Parker before his time is up, that would be a blemish on his resume to me, just because of who Joseph Parker has become in the last year or so. He was already champion, he's already good in the first place, but he's really, I think, inserted himself into like the potential top 3 of his era type territory with these recent wins against Wilder and Zhang and these kind of things, on top of what he's already done earlier in his career. So I think Joshua's got to fight those guys. He could be number 2, but he will never be number 1 because he already lost the guy that was number 1 multiple times. So we'll see how it goes for Joshua. I like AJ. You know, AJ is actually, believe it or not, one of my favorite fighters. So it doesn't give me any great joy to say that about AJ. I've had a great time covering him on this channel, but that's just what it is. So those are my talking points. Let me read you guys' comments because you guys are putting in a lot of comments and we're freestyling. We're at that point